So here we are, and now we are going to see the function, its types and its examples. Well, as you can see in the picture, these are one of the most famous operating systems all around the globe. No matter which country or continent you are living in right now, you must have seen at least one of them. Like the first one is Mac, the second one is Linux, the third one is Windows, and the fourth one is iOS, as you can see, and the fifth one is Android, and the sixth one is I do not know. Okay, there are so many operating systems that I do not know. So these are the operating systems that are present in our devices. Like the Android is present mainly in our telephone, smartphone, tablets and all that. It is based upon the Linux system, and the Windows is also there. The Android is a separate thing. Well, I said the Linux, but it's not related. Linux is this penguin one, and the thing that you are able to see is this one. Let me activate my arrow. So here is our penguin, and here is our iOS. Okay, now let's see the functions. So my dear beautiful engineers, now you want to learn that what are the functions of the operating system. So let's write beautifully with the functions. So what the functions of operating system that we do have, what it performs? Well, I have repeated it so many times, but do not get offended with this. I am repeating this so that your mind can gather that area of the curiosity that what it is, and now you can fill it up. First raise the question and then figure out its answer or the process or the way, and then it will be great. Then you will always be smiling, right? Okay. Okay, now let's see what are the things. This is the first one is resource management. Resource management, MGMT. I am writing for the management. Now the second one is process management. Don't worry, I am going to explain each of them, but just first get to the name of it, and till the time you can imagine that what could it possibly mean with these managements. Next one is security. The next one is job accounting. This is the N. And the sixth one is file management. Well, file management is one of the most important thing. The seventh one here we do have is device management, because it's not just one device all the time. We can connect our computer with the external device also. Like right now I have connected my pen tab and the video is running too. So it's the device management. We are having the keyboard, it is attached to our CPU or GPU, that is device management. Our scanner or printer which is attached, that is the device management. Okay, let me change the color so that we can be colorful here. So the eighth one is networking. So what I just said is actually the networking. You have to network all the devices. The ninth one is user interface. User interface. The 10th one is backup and recovery. This is one of the most important thing, because whenever our data is at a risk, we need its backup and recovery. Sometimes we have to recover the data, and yes, it is possible to recover the data indeed. Sometimes expensive and sometimes just a precaution. If you took the proper precaution, you can get your data back. Virtualization. The 12th one is let's say performance monitoring. Performance monitoring. The 13th one is time sharing. The 14th one is system call. System calls. And the final one, finally, error detection. Well, in no way I am assuming you to cram all these things. Even I have written this. That's why my speed in this writing all the functions was slow, because I want you to remember and understand all these things. But I don't want you to cram these all that things. There is a slight difference between understanding and learning and the cramming. I just simply mean that when you read that operating system can do the memory management, you must understand that which kind of the memory we are talking about, or what is the memory we are talking about, and what is the function the operating system is doing in that memory. So that's what I actually meant with. Let's understand these all the things in a way, in a easy possible way, in the easiest possible way, let me say. The first one is resource management. What is resource management? Resource management is what are your resources. Means you can allocate the memory. You have the memory, but you have to allocate the memory for the different programs. Like you have seen when your phone gets old and you are trying to download something, it is showing you that it needs some extra memory to download that stuff. So who is talking to you about that? Your operating system is telling you that, and how much space is left, how much space you need to run that particular kind of the software. And sometimes when you download any software in your PC or laptop, it also shows that how many bits you are going to use, or how many bits of the Windows or whichever the operating system you're using is having. Is 32-bit, 64-bit, which kind of the bit? We are going to talk about the bit in a bit in a bit section, but right now what I am trying to tell you is that these are the resources that it has to manage. It is not limited to just these things, but it is indeed talking about that all the resources that we can imagine that our hardware is going to be used. Now the second one is the process management. What is the process management? A process management tells us that where to start and where to stop. That is the process. In between anything can happen. Like if a child gets a question, that child has to answer it, and in between it is processing. Let me give you the simplest possible example. I ask a kid, what is 1 plus 1? Let's see it visually. That will be fun, right? So I ask a kid, hey kid, this is our kid. Okay. So I asked that what is 1 plus 1? So I actually gave the input to the kid's mind, and now his mind is processing like 1 and 1. So 1 and 1 is 2, and I asked for the addition, so it means the answer is 2. So this is our output, and this is obviously our input. And here is something. Well, I have not written 1 and 1. I'm just let me make it like a tree. The kids use the sticks or the fingers or these kind of things to add and subtract. We all have done that, right? So this is called the process. They are following a process. So this is the process management. And who is processing? Operating system. Well, in our case, the mind obviously is doing that, but this is what we actually meant with process management. So we have got that. Now let's see the next one. This is memory management that we have just talked. Who tells us that how much memory is left? Who is telling us that this amount of the minimum memory is required to run this function? That is memory management. A good programmer, a good computer engineer always know that how much memory it is going to work with, because that is directly related to the speed and reliability of that program which is going to function. So this is very important. Now the next important aspect is the security. In the PC or in the laptop, you have seen something called as firewall. that is the inbuilt security, and every operating system have their inbuilt security. You can put the third party security like the rest of the security companies, quick heal, antivirus and that kind of things, but we are talking about the internal security that operating system have. So that is the security. Now the next one is the job accounting. Job accounting means simply to classify the things in the number and talking about a particular job or the action or the things that you're performing. So that's the job accounting or accountability, you can say in the simple word, except job accounting, accountability for that program so that it do not malfunction or the function is in correct way, like the plus. When I say 1 plus 1, so 1 and 1 are the number, but the plus sign is the operator. So the right operator activates the right physical hardware circuit. It do not activate the multiplication circuit, it do not activate the division or the subtraction circuit, it activates the addition circuit. So that circuit must be activated. So that is the job accounting we are talking about. The next one is the file management. File management is very important. Like we have C drive, D drive, E drive, and these kind of the drives in which the files are stored. There are some files which are necessarily stored in the form of the operating system itself, that store itself, and the next one is the by default application programs that we use to run. For example, spreadsheet. So that is the file management. The file that is needed to be managed is done as one of the function of operating system, and how much the operating system is efficient in the layman's term is determined largely by the file management itself. How much easy it is to edit that file, read that file, how much security to the file is there. So that is our purpose.